continue with the fourth module today also. So let me start sharing the screen. So your fourth module is use case development. Okay. So what is that use case development? So basically in your fourth module, we will be dealing with these four concepts. Like what are the business requirement, because the module is about use case development. So basically you will be developing various use cases. So what are those and how you go about creating that? What is the advantage of developing those use cases? So basically four topics will be covering. The first one is approaches to gather business requirement. Okay, so what are the business requirement any IoT product if you are manufacturing? What are the requirements and how will you begin gathering those requirements? Then for developing any use case, you need to write down the first important thing is the problem statement. So what is your problem? So how do you like document that? So that is the problem statement definition that we will cover. Next is business requirement for use case development. So for developing the use case, what are the requirements? So and already in the first we'll study like what are the approaches to gather those requirements and what are the requirements for the use case and what are the assets and what kind of assets you need for development of the solutions or use case development and all. So all this will cover in the fourth module. In the previous class, we had discussed about for any business, what are the good characteristics of requirements? Like how do you define the requirements? The requirements should be appropriate. Okay, so it should not be like ambiguous. So if you are approaching a fund, like any funding agency or somebody to fund your project or any business you are starting, so you should define your requirements first. Okay, you should give in writing to them that I need this, I need this. Suppose any project also if you are doing, suppose in your J component you are doing something, the first thing is you find, first thing you define your problem statement, then you go for your requirements. So I need this component, I need that component, all that you first write down and make sure that whatever you write down in the problem state like requirements, those should be clear, that should be unambiguous. Like if you are writing a particular sensor, you need a particular sensor, you need to specify what is the like frequency range it should work, what is the distance it should work on. So all this needs to be specified. So all this we covered in the previous classes. Today we will move into the requirements of any IoT project. So earlier we studied what are the characteristic of requirements. So how do you define the requirements and what are the good characteristics of a requirement. Today we will study what are the requirements to develop any IoT project. So first requirement is your cloud computing. Okay, so obviously you know if you go for like any product, IoT product or something, you need like knowledge of the cloud computing and all the cloud computing resources, whatever is needed. That is your basic requirement first. Next is your access. So another IoT requirement is its accessibility from anywhere, anytime. Accessibility, sorry. So you should be able to access your IoT product. That is also another requirement. And security is a concern. And user experience obviously is also like important because if you are launching your product, you need to consider the user experience as well. Next is smart machines. So smart machines form the basic component of your starting from point from which all connected things can be derived. Next is asset management and big data analytics. So these are the basic requirements of your IoT project. Next is how to gather the business requirement. Okay, so already we studied in the previous class like what are the features of good requirements. Now how to go about collecting those requirements. So already if you have like written your proposal to the funding agency, you have mentioned in the paper that these are the requirements. So how you go about collecting those requirements? First is there are 5 steps for collecting the requirements. The first is pick a platform with extensive protocol support for data ingestion. So what it does, to seamlessly bring data from devices into the edge platform. Okay, so suppose you will be using for your IoT, you will be using the edge platform. So to seamlessly bring data from the devices into the edge platform, so you should choose a leading IoT platform. Okay, so because you will be needing the data in your edge platform, you should select a proper or a like standard IoT platform that will support extensive mix of protocols for data ingestion. Data ingestion means you will be ingesting the data into your edge platform. So any data whichever is available in your devices and all should be ingested into your platform, and for that you need standard protocols. Okay, so you cannot anyway, you cannot go about create own protocol, rather which are existing in the market, some standard protocols you can follow them, either you buy them or you take franchisee from them or you pay money, whatever it is, or have a deal with them, but those protocols you can go for, because those protocols are standard protocols and they are secure. The privacy is also taken care of there. So if you go for starting your own set of protocol, it will take you hell longer lot of time, so that you won't be able to complete your project on time. So the best thing is go for standard protocols which are already available in the market. Okay, so this is the first step, that pick a platform with extensive protocol support and data ingestion. So pick the first thing is pick a proper platform that is necessary for you. The next thing is ensure the platform has robust capability for offline functionality. Okay, so this is one major concern. Like you cannot guarantee that your everything will be online every time. So make sure that whatever protocol you are selecting from the market, that should have capability for offline functionality also. Okay, so different things I have given over here. You can go through that slides if once I upload. The thing is, first, edge system need to offer data normalization to successfully clean noisy sensor data. These systems must offer storage to support intermittent, unreliable, or limited connectivity between edge and cloud. So this is what I was telling, that it should provide like storage to intermittent data, like in the middle some operation, some data is generated, that should be stored. All this when there is poor network connectivity also, the data should be stored. So all this should be taken care of. Is it understandable? I know this is complete theory, but are you able to understand the basic idea what I am trying to say? Yeah. Hello. Yeah, is it understandable or not? Just let me know. Okay, okay, thank you. So, okay, thank you. So basically, this is pure theory. So I don't expect that you will be able to remember everything now. Just have an understanding what we are doing. First thing is you are going to manufacture your IoT product and you want to launch it in the market as a business. The first thing is you will need these things. Okay, cloud, accessibility, security, everything. So and then how to go about that? First is you cannot manufacture your own platform, so first use some standard platforms. Next is when you select the platform, make sure that the platform has offline functionality. Third is make sure that the platform provides cloud-based orchestration to support device lifecycle management. So need not get bogged down by all these words, like heavy words. Just understand the platform you select should have a cloud-based support. Okay, so it is obvious, like any platform you go standard platform, it will have the cloud-based support, because it should push like whatever things you need to push it to the cloud, then again use it sometime later whenever you need. So that's why the cloud support should be like proper. Next is platform needs a hardware agnostic scalable architecture. So what is this? So basically the platform which you select should be scalable, easily scalable. So suppose you have taken a platform and started initially for suppose 500 products you have launched. So you have used it for 500 products in your for project. Later once you see that you are having profit and all, you think of making that 500 to 5,000. increasing your productivity. So whatever platform you have selected, make sure that that is scalable. Like if you increase the productivity to 5,000 also, in that case also the platform should support. It's not that it is only limited for 500, it cannot be extended to 5,000. So that should not be the case. So while selecting the platform itself, make sure that the platform you select is scalable, the architecture is scalable. Next is comprehensive analytics and visualization tools make a big difference. So this is one important thing. Like you might have seen like different uh, things like your Lenskart. You might have seen that app. So what happens there is whenever you go for buying any lens, like specs from Lenskart, you have that visualization scheme there. Okay, so just the moment you click your picture and do enter, so it will try that particular spec on your face and show how it looks. Okay, instead of actually going and doing it in the shop, you can do it online there itself. So that visualization gives it an edge. Okay, so similarly, whenever you go for any protocol implementation or any selecting of protocol, make sure that the protocol has proper visualization at each level. Suppose some secure like person at a lower like software level, he is trying to make some changes, so he should also have a visualization there. So suppose somebody is at the managerial level, for him also all the visualizations should be available at his level, so that if you want to make some changes, he can make like understand visually also like what changes will happen where. Okay, so that visualization tools, and that will give him the like understanding how things work inside that business. So that whenever you choose the platform, make that the visual make sure that the visualization tools are efficient there. Next is so this is the okay, so let me show you. So the first part of your module 4, that is approaches to gather business requirement, this we covered. So what are the approaches? The 5 approaches are there, 5 steps. First one is pick proper platform. Second is the platform you select, make sure it has offline capability, make sure it has visualization tools, make sure it has cloud compatibility. So all these are 5 like features of selecting any like uh, approaches to gather the business requirement. Next is defining problem statements. Okay, so this is the next part of your syllabus. So this is the defining the problem statement. So what is problem statement? So as per my understanding, this should have actually, you should have in the syllabus, this should have come first, like what are problem statements and how to like define that. Next, what are the requirements and what are the approaches. So anyway, what is meant by problem statement? So whenever you are defining your IoT project or anything, you for your J component also, first thing that comes to your mind is what am I going to do? So what is the problem or what is the issue that you will be solving? So that is nothing but your problem statement. So the theory is then the first thing is in your slides you will be generally keeping the motivation behind that, because everything you do has a motivation. So why it is important, then what, then how to go about solving the problem. So why, what is the motivation and how to solve it. So all this combinedly will form your problem statement. Next is whenever you go for creating your like defining your problem statement, there are so many questions that like go around in your mind. Think about what are the questions. So what problem are we trying to solve? So what is the problem? That is the first thing. Then how do we know this is a real problem? So is this actually a real problem, or like some people think that this is a problem but this isn't a real problem. So why it is important to solve, that is the motivation. Who are the users who will be benefited by solving these problems? How will you know if we solve the problem? So finally, how will you know? Like you will do problem statement and everything but at the end you should be like able to justify that whatever problem you had like thought of, you could solve that. It's not that it is unsolved, you did something but it didn't solve your problem. So next is defining a problem statement. So how do you define a proper problem statement? So there are 5 W's in any problem statement. So what are those 5 W's? So who, what, where, when, and why. So these are the like W's, the 5 W's which you like think of whenever you define any problem statement. So you might not be theoretically actually thinking of all this when you actually define a problem statement, but internally whenever you go about and try to trace back what made you do arrive at that problem statement, that will lead you to these 5 W's. So ultimately you check that whatever problem statement you all have already defined your problem statement, just make sure and check that you or your problem statement has like all these 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. Okay. Next is, what are the benefits of a problem statement? Okay, so these are pure theory things. Just let me not go through the slides for this. Let me tell you. So what are problem statements? How you will be benefited. So the problem statement, if you tell your problem statement to me, so what it will help me? It will help me understand what you are trying to do, and it will help me navigate like through your project entirely. I would think that you have thought it in this way. You might have done something related to this or some, there are different options, but this is your overall, like I can easily navigate through your problem instead of listening to you for 1 or 2 hours presenting your project and all. So if you like define a proper problem statement, anybody who comes across that will be able to make sense out of that. Okay, so then once somebody makes sense out of that, then it is easier for them to understand what you might have done, how you might have done, everything will come into the mind. But the thing is, first the problem statement, if it is clear and crisp, everybody can make sense out of that. Okay, next is problem statement as a document. So this is what like you everybody goes through whenever you write your problem statement. That is nothing but your document. So how do you write? You make sure that you describe the things, how that should work in your problem statement, explain the problem and state why it matters. So your problem statement like consists of all these details: your backup claims, your solution of the proposal, then benefits of your solutions, then conclusion. Everything will comprise like whenever you like go about defining a problem statement and document that, it should comprise of all these things, starting from the initial motivation to the final conclusion. Okay, so with solutions, claims, every detail should be there in your problem statement details. Okay, whenever you document, it's not just the sentence that you document the problem statement, but you have to document everything. Like the report you will be providing for your J component, it should have all the details. Okay, starting from the like inception towards the final conclusion. So what are like problem state for defining any problem statement? There are different like other two methods. One is your affinity diagram and empathy mapping. Okay, so this is your affinity diagram, as you can see. So you might have seen these kind of things in offices. Okay, like whenever you go, you have this what you call the sticky notes. Okay, you have this sticky notes written and these kind of things. So this happens with anybody. Like suppose you are studying in your classes also right now, so in your hostels you might have used these kind of sticky notes. So this is pending, all these things happen. Okay, so this is your affinity diagram. So what is that? Suppose some example I'm giving, some financial like sticky note will have financial aspect, financial head. So where there you will be writing about your organization hold due to credit problems, order shipment delayed because invoice is not yet given, like invoice is not paid. Then logistics, what are the like supplier delivery is late due to logistic problem, then delay in warehouse reaching. All these things will come under your logistics. Simply some supplier issues. So why part of the shipment is like delayed, part of the shipment is received. So all these things will come under your affinity diagram. So this affinity diagram is a method which can help you gather large amount of data and organize them into groups. Okay, so this is your affinity diagram. Then next is empathy mapping. Next is empathy mapping. So this is the second approach of your problem statement. So what is this empathy matching? Empathy mapping. So you can see that this, suppose this is the person you are like your customer. So for that, this you need to first hear. So what the person will be like first hearing what the friends say, what family say, what boss and peers says, what influencer says. So they'll be hearing first. Next is they have to think and feel like what really matters. So they'll hear everybody first. Next is they have to think what really matters to them. So is it actually necessary for them? Then they have to look at the environment also. Okay, so if I do this, this environment will be affected, social media, websites, magazines. So everything they have to look at. So next is they have to also think of gains, like what is the wants, what is the need, in pains, like what are the fears, frustrations, everything. Like if you like take into account and document that, that will create a different type of problem statement, which will be like called as your empathy mapping. So this kind of problem statement where you like focus on all these aspects, like what you see, what you hear, what are your pains, what are your gains. So that kind of documentation of the problem statement is called as empathy mapping. Okay, generally we follow this first one, the affinity diagram kind of things. So one second. Okay, so these are the two types, the affinity diagram and the empathy mapping, where you go about creating the problem statement. Next is defining the problem statement. So already like you all have created these problem statements. So already you all have already created the problem statement for your project. So you already are aware of what is the problem statement and all, but try to understand that if you now also look into your problem statement, you will realize there are 5 W's you have, like you might have focused while creating your problem statement. Like what is the motivation, why you are going for that, everything. When you document that, all those 5 W's should be answered. Next, what is a problem statement? So these are like all theories. So problem statement is a statement of current issue or problem that requires timely action to improve the situation. So there are various like definitions being given over here. Anyway, you can go through that as you like go through the slides. So next is why a problem statement is important. So this is what I told you, because it helps somebody whom you give the problem statement to navigate through the entire project. So I can navigate through your entire project the moment I see your problem statement. Next is it provides information to make like to me to take decision or take crucial decision making in relation to the project and process. So that means it is easier for the person who goes through or your funding agency to understand what is happening in your problem. Okay, so problem statement are different, have different purposes. So you can go through the advantages of this problem statement. And problem statement help guide projects. Okay, so this will ultimately help you guide projects. So sometime in the project it might happen that you think being lost. Okay, you don't realize what is happening and how you want to go to like proceed further. So the thing is, just close your eyes, go through your problem statement once again. So then you will realize that I was planning to do this, so I should think in that aspect. So that will help you guide the project in a proper way. So defining your problem statement. So describe how the things should work, explain and problem state why it matters, explain the financial cost. So everything has to be properly documented. Okay, the next is, as per your syllabus, the next is business requirement for use case development and assets for developing IoT solution. So these two will cover in the next class. So that way we will cover your 4th module completely, and then we can go to your 5th module. Is there any doubt or was it okay? Yeah, was it okay or any doubt? Hello?
Ma'am, it was okay.
Okay, this is a complete theory, so just I'll request you to go through the slides. There's nothing to bother much about that. It's just what are problem statements, how you go about creating that, and what for your business, what are the different requirements and how you try to access that. That's it. So I'll just pose the question for today. All of you answer, and then we can leave. You have given the question, or if you can answer, and then we can leave. Stop recording here.